I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is a live update from Mississippi Live Weather.
Meteorologist Gabe Meaner here with a Mississippi Live Weather update. Showers and storms continue to highlight a good portion of our region. And just recently, that severe thunderstorm warning down around Oktibbeha and Clay County just recently expiring. Reason why we saw that is because of those gusty winds as well as heavy downpours and lots of lightning. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that storm in particular. As I take it in a little bit closer, we can see how much lightning has been produced. 466 over the last 30 minutes or so. And I'm just working to get things up right here. But basically what we're watching on this is going to be those strong winds. So bear with me one moment while I pull up this radar site, and I believe we should still have an image out of Monroe County. You can see right there, winds coming in at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. We get the highlight right there, 22 miles an hour along that leading edge, and then just basically highlighting through the storm. I mean, it's tough to see right there, but definitely did get some of those stronger gusts a few moments ago. Let's circulate this back the last 3 hours. Is a bit much. Let's take it back the last hour. So as we walk back on that forecast, and I'm going to clear off the screen right here, you can kind of see that earlier on that severe thunderstorm warning was in effect basically for portions of Clay County and then moving towards Abbott and Montpelier. Just expanding this out one moment as we can walk through that entire warning. Yeah, basically the entirety of Clay County trying to get more towards West Point and then the northern edge of Oktibbeha County. Fortunately, earlier on winds were a little bit more impressive. Now what we're getting is not as impressive signatures, hence why we have that diminishing in that warning to basically not a warning, but still a strong storm, might I add. So let's go ahead and take this back to precipitation mode, and you can see along that leading edge as we walk through that track, and I'm going to take it back the last hour or so once again, just to make sure we have a good track on this. So started around Houston, moving across West Point. So let's take this track right here. And you know what? I'm going to need the mouse over here. So bear with me one moment. I'm going to pull this up right here and get you a long track on this storm. Just walking along that leading edge and putting a squall line on this. You can see where the heaviest portions are, and that's going to be the northern edge of Oktibbeha County. And if we take it about, I would say 20 miles an hour as that expands further southeast, you can see several times listed there. I'll take it to this side of your screen so we can walk through that. Lakeside Estates 219, Waterfront Estates by 219. We're seeing Self Creek by 222, Polaires by about 225, Adeton 225. The Darracott community 231, and then on there towards West Point closer to about 235. Now this is still a strong storm, but our strongest portion is actually still out here towards the northwest edge of Oktibbeha County. I believe that's close to our Adeton camera, our North Mississippi Storm Chaser camera, getting us a great shot over there. I'm going to try and pull this up. You know what? We might not be able to. I might have to do this old-fashioned way. So bear with me one moment here real quick as we assess this behind the scenes for one moment. Let me pull this up right here. So there's our Adeton camera. Let's pull this up and try and get a visual. It takes a second to load in, and there you go. I mean, it's just dark storm clouds, still 91 degrees, so still a pretty unstable air mass, but that wall of rainfall happening right there in the distance, and you can see those wind gusts. Although it says 0 at the top of our screen, our camera is definitely getting jostled around, so still about 20 to 30 miles an hour at the surface, and you're going to feel those gusty conditions as that pushes on through. Now, this is, again, the heaviest portion along that leading edge, and lots of lightning associated with it, so you'll see several strikes if you're watching our tower cameras on the Mississippi Live Weather app, but assessing this behind the scenes, I mean, it's still going to be an active system. I'm going to take it back to our Columbus radar, or should I say Monroe County radar. Let me X out of this. There we go. Okay, so pulling that back up, and we'll assess the entire area. We did have heavier portions back here towards the Lee County and Prentiss County area. Earlier on, those wind gusts were a little bit stronger, but that's starting to diminish just a bit in strength. Zooming in on that storm in particular, we're going to take it up to Lee and Prentiss County, and you can see earlier on when it was moving on the south side of Boonville through Baldwin, a little bit more impressive, but as it's pushing further south, it's merging with this cell back on the east side of Tupelo. That's what I just walked in. So if you see a few raindrops on my shirt, well, that's exactly why, because I did deal with this downpour. But still an electric system. And let's zoom in on that one in particular and put a storm track. Again, that leading edge, we're talking about 15 to 20 miles an hour and carrying that out. Richmond by about 226, Evergreen 237, Carolina 248, and Smithville by about 309. Now, is this severe? No, we're not going to see too many severe warned storms with these with the system, but what we will see is several strong storms and several electric storms. And even on the back end of this, Enville showing a pretty electric system as well, carrying that out, moving south and east. Let me make sure that path is correct on that. We're going to just watch this cycle through the last hour. So let me get back on that. Yeah, I'd say we're going actually a little fast. We're going to back this up just a bit. So let's get that leading edge and let's carry it about, I would say 10 miles an hour. We're seeing the Bisbell Community 236, Palmetto Estates 250, Verona by about 305. So it looks like that we're just trending a little bit south of Tupelo, but could get a little bit as that builds more north, moderate rainfall towards Tupelo. So not done with the rainfall just yet. And still, I mean, this is our best chance of rainfall. We've been saying that all week long. And we're getting exactly that with some of those heavy downpours across the region so far. I mean, it's just been, let me see if I can pull up how much rainfall we've seen. Bear with me one moment. I don't think we'll be able to do that right now, but definitely assess that here in a moment. But what we're seeing right now on our threat tracker, I'm going to expand things out once again because I want to go back to that severe storm back down around West Point. And you can see that they just extended a new warning here for Oktibbeha, Clay, Lowndes, and northwest Noxubee County. Now that is in effect until 3:15 this afternoon. So what you can expect with that is some of those strong wind gusts as well as that heavy downpour of rainfall. So I'm going to let me adjust this behind the scenes here real quick and just make sure we have this pulled up because I do want to see. So special weather statement earlier on this afternoon. Now as we take a look, that'll be back down there towards Jackson. I have to cycle that in here real quick. But yeah, so that's pretty much the extent of what we're seeing. Taking it back to our precip mode, what we're getting is that leading edge, still some pretty strong rainfall. It's just a very energetic storm moving right across Highway 82. I know our Chief Meteorologist, Matt Laupon, actually down there in Starkville. Hopefully he'll be in the clear, staying away from all that lightning, because even lightning is dangerous. It's not one of our severe threats, but can be dangerous in its own right. So that's the one storm we're watching that has that severe warning attached to it. But just zooming back out to the entirety of North Mississippi, that Florence storm, definitely one to be watching as it moves further south and east, looking at that latest track there. Again, not going to be anything for us to be concerned about, but could build down there towards Franklin County. I'm going to head off screen for one moment to put a track on this and walk that through south and east just in case it were to get there into Franklin County. Oh, wait, that's way too fast. So let me do one more that's a little bit slower. Okay, we'll carry it about 20 miles an hour on that. And you can see the 6 Points area by 229, Fairview by about 229 as well, and then on there towards Brooks Acres 229. That's going to be that far northeast section or northwest section of Franklin County. So that's what we're watching for. Not a severe storm, but definitely a storm to be paying attention to as that continues to build south, and some of those purples that are still popping up shows that this is still a maturing storm. So taking it back wide here real quick, I want to do a 3D track on this storm. So I'm going to zoom back in on this storm and kind of see where we're at in the life cycle of these storms, because with summer forecasting, these storms are very cyclical in nature, meaning that they peak, and then as soon as they peak and top out, well, then they start to diminish. So if we take a 3D analysis on that and kind of, let me get right here and push it further down. We can get some of those storm tops. We're talking about 20 to 30,000 feet. A lot of that stuff aloft. We're kind of looking at this level right here, and you can see it pretty much lining up with that 20 to 30,000 feet mark, and a lot of those, the heaviest portions, a lot of the tallest portions are still a part of that, that primary cell that we were tracking moving through the northwest corner of Oktibbeha County. So as we take this 3D mode across the last hour or so, you can see that we're still building in strength. So this is still a storm that's maturing and still that severe thunderstorm warning. That's why it's continued into 3:15. That's another 50 minutes or so, because that storm is not diminishing in strength just yet. So we could see some of that small hail develop out of this. Just taking it back to that home view. I'm going to take it back to that 2D analysis there with our radar site, and just taking a look at that as we zoom in on that specific location down there towards Oktibbeha County. Starting to build more, and I'm going to take a look at winds here real quick. And let's just keep it on the latest scan. So those winds not going to be rotating, but some of those strongest wind gusts jutting out ahead of that storm, and that's going to produce some damage to things that are loose. We're talking about possibly some carports or something along those lines. But so far, we've been fortunate to not hear of any reports as of now. But whenever we talk about the possibility of what to expect with these storms, we can kind of see that on our threat tracker. 1-inch hail is definitely possible in the heart of that storm. Lots of thunder, as you hear even here in Tupelo with a non-severe storm. So a lot of electricity in the air. But basically, that hail core is what we're watching for the possibility of some of those large hailstones. Even back on the back end of this, we're talking a 1/2-inch hail possible. So even on the part of the storm that's not the strongest, still going to be damaging in its own right. And all the way up there towards Cedar Bluff, we can see 1/2-inch hail. So zooming this out, you can kind of see that entire line that's in that severe thunderstorm warning. That's the reason why that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect, is because of hail. It's also because of those strong damaging winds. So, and then lightning. Lightning is not severe, but it can be damaging in its own right. So that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 3:15. I'm actually going to take us over to the wall here real quick to walk through a little bit on our storm track, and we can kind of walk through our future cast heading into the overnight hours. So let's go ahead and take this over. I actually got to put some play here real quick. So as we take it through the rest of our afternoon, still more activity is definitely possible, and that's something that we'll be watching for as we head into our Wednesday afternoon and evening. So bear with me one moment. I'll pull it up right here. And you see Futurecast, lots of those individual cells still lingering around, especially over and around that Lee, Prentiss, and Itawamba County line. So those will continue to develop. That one over and around Florence, we talked about it moving towards Franklin County, still definitely possible. And even on the back end of this, we're not done with the threat just yet because more severe storms are expected to move in. Those continue to cycle on through. Some heavy portions down there around Winston County still expected to move in by 9-10 o'clock. So paying attention to that in the extended forecast, but we'll be walking through that because as you see the time frame, 9-10 this evening, well, Mississippi Live Weather, we have 24/7 coverage for a reason. So giving you all the latest updates on that forecast. Hopefully not severe storms, and hopefully just gives us a nice downpour because if you're like the Manor House, you're definitely in need of that rainfall. But then further into the night, a few of those rumbles of thunder do linger before kind of clearing out by 2-3 o'clock in the morning on our Thursday. So very early in the morning should be a calm forecast as we head out the door for our Thursday. Now, those partly cloudy skies do linger for the start of the day before more isolated rain chances continue in that forecast. High temperatures tomorrow continue to be the story. We're talking mid-90s across the region. So heat, still the story, but this rainfall definitely providing us with some of that rain-cooled air. We're continuing to monitor this behind the scenes, but we wanted to provide you an update here at Mississippi Live Weather on that severe thunderstorm warning. And if any more severe thunderstorms are to take place, we'll definitely be watching that behind the scenes and cut in as need be. We just want to keep you guys as informed and as alert on the weather as possible. We'll see you back here tonight at 5, 6, and 10 for the very latest on the coverage, if we don't need to cut in before then, but hopefully not the case. But yeah, just stay safe, stay dry, and enjoy that much needed rainfall.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Laupon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Laupon has proven himself trustworthy.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.